Masala Mama here. Let's make my favorite baingan aaloo or eggplant with potatoes. I'll post the ingredients on the screen. Heat your oil and add methi dana, mustard seeds and kalonji. Add cumin seeds. Now add curry leaves. Every time you add curry leaves, they're going to splutter. I put the lid on until the spluttering stops. Turn the heat off if you have to. Add freshly ground ginger and garlic paste. Anytime you're making a vegetarian dish, add freshly ground ginger and garlic. Mix everything together. Fry for about 15 seconds. I'm going to add some ghee. I think ghee gives it a really nice flavor as well. But you can skip it if you don't want to use it. Now, I always use a chicken bouillon cube in my vegetarian dishes and in my dal dishes. But you don't have to if you don't want to. And now we're going to add all the spices. If you find that your spices are beginning to burn, you can just turn the stove off, add all of your spices, and then you can turn the stove back on again. Cook these for about 10-15 seconds. I think this is the only dish I use canned tomatoes in. Obviously, you can use fresh tomatoes, but do make sure that your fresh tomatoes are very, very ripe. Otherwise, you won't get the proper flavor that you need to get with the tomatoes. Usually, you'll see dishes that have eggplant in it will have a lot of tomatoes. And so my canned tomatoes, they were okay. Sometimes, depending on the brand, the canned tomatoes can be really ripe and then they just soften up really quickly. This particular one wasn't. So I had to really cook them down for about 15 to 20 minutes to make sure they're all nice and soft so that when the eggplant and the potatoes are cooked, you're not tasting any hard tomato pieces. So I'm going to cover and cook for a little bit until the tomatoes have completely softened. If you find your masala has become very dry or sticking to the bottom, you can add some water to it just to prevent it from sticking at the bottom. And then you can go ahead and finish bhuning this. So people make this in different ways. First they'll cook the potatoes or the eggplant. I just put both of them together. This actually is a really delicious dish, guys. If you know how to make homemade naan, I do have recipes for that too. If you make homemade naan and eat them with it, oh my God, it's so yummy. So I'm not going to put any water in it right now. The potatoes and the eggplants have a lot of water in them. I cover the pot, let it steam up, and the steam will cook the vegetables. But if for some reason, let's say your baingan weren't very fresh, didn't have a lot of water, or whatever reason that your masala looks a little dry, of course you can put in some water. Put it in by 3 or 4 tablespoons at a time until your vegetables are tender. I think desi cooking is all about covering, taking off, checking, covering, taking off, checking. After you add the potatoes and the eggplant, it'll take about 20 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes, depending on the size of your potatoes and the size of the pieces of your eggplant, but they cook fairly quickly. Everything looks tender and everything is done. So the only thing you have to do now is taste for spices, just taste for your salt. I had to add a little bit more salt. And while I didn't film that, chop up green coriander, fresh cilantro, and sprinkle on top, and your dish is done. Enjoy!